Hey guys, welcome back. It's the PipeCat channel, and I'm still Larry. Or like the guy from 5 Watt World says, I love this. You're the PipeCat channel. I just make the videos. I don't know why I love that. You guys are 5 Watt World. I just make the video. Anyway, I kind of owe you guys a couple of follow-up videos. I'm not sure anyone's even interested in hearing them, but sometimes I look back, I'm saying, you know what, I entitled this video here Part 1, and don't think I ever shot a Part 2. And I'd rather not have that on the books. So just so I can sleep tonight, I'm gonna follow up a couple of stories. First of all, one of these is actually a Part 2 that I said I'd post, and it was such a letdown that I just didn't do it, but I thought maybe I'd mention it to you now. I have a video about deception at the dealership, Part 1. And that's where my 2020 Honda CR-V had a problem where the air conditioning wouldn't turn on. I mean, it would turn on, but you wouldn't get any cold. And I went through the whole rigmarole about, well, maybe it's the gas inside, or maybe something else. But it turned out to be simply an electrical disconnection. The wires in the little harness, it's like a little, I don't know, it looks like a honeycomb kind of wire connection that stands next to the air conditioning pump down there. That the wires had come unattached, and there were several of them, and I didn't know what order they went back in. They had simply pulled out. I mean, you could see it. They just were just kind of dangling, but they were still intact. And that's why the thing wasn't coming on. It was intermittently at first because they were just coming loose. But after a while, they just popped out. Probably shook loose. Who knows? Some kind of centrifugal force did it. A friend of mine who's a mechanic took a look down in there for me before I took it to the dealership. And he's like, oh yeah, well, you can see right here, this is your problem. The connections have come out. So knowing that when you deal with a dealership and you're talking about warranty repair that you have service coverage for, me personally, I know there's a lot of horror stories about it. So what I did before I reported the problem to my dealer, I went online and I looked and said, what are people saying about reporting this problem? And I found a couple of very disturbing repetitions online. People were saying, careful when you tell the dealer this, because what they'll say is, they'll say that either a rock got up there and broke the wires out, or rodents were gnawing on the wires, which I found kind of funny. But I said, why would they say that? I mean, the plate underneath the motor is perfectly intact; no rock could get up there, and the wires are pristine; they're just hanging loose. There's nothing chewed on them. So I took it in there, knowing what I know. I mean, I see it. I know what didn't happen. To tell you that much. I just need somebody to reconnect it in the right order. And of course, the guy who checked me in at the dealership, he actually said to me, because a lot of times with that, what you're talking about, and I was waiting, because I kind of knew. A lot of times, what it is, a rock will get up there, or a stick or something, and knock the wires loose, and it's not uncommon for rodents to chew on the wires. So I'm like, I said, well, that's not what happened here, and you'll see when you get it up in the lift. Well, we'll put it in whatever. And I said, this is covered under warranty. And he's like, well, it could be. So anyway, long story short, watch the video, my previous video, and you'll see what the initial argument was. Well, after that fiasco got over, they charged me. They charged me a lot of money to do that simple little repair. And in the paperwork it said, chewed by rodents. I was furious. I was irate. So I took it to Honda Corporate, And I went on there. I did everything officially. I went on their website and I filled out the form, complaint form. Well, it's like a contact form, I mentioned the dealership by name, where they're located. I gave them all the information about my car. And I said, basically in a nutshell, they fed me a line of bullshit and wouldn't honor my warranty. I'm pretty angry about it. I think I want that money back. I think this should be covered under warranty. I want a refund. So of course you get the form response back immediately, an email saying, we got your request and someone will be reaching out to you, to talk to you about it. And I waited and I waited and I waited, and you can probably tell because, like I said, the first part 1 video about it was so long ago. Well, what ended up happening, to close that story up, about 8 weeks later, as I recall, I got a formal, I got an email from corporate with a letter, like a document attached to it. And the document indicated that it had been copied for their records. And they were sending me a copy for my records. And it was the findings of their inquiry into my warranty, refund request, my repair refund request. And I thought it was, I figured they would tell me, well, we talked to this one, we talked to that one, you're right about this, you're right about that. And, for those reasons, I figured at least meet me halfway, something like that, I paid hundreds of dollars. I shouldn't have paid anything. So the letter, which I don't have open in front of me right now, that letter said, in a nutshell, we called your dealer. They said it was a rock or a rodent. No refund. I said, but I told you that's what they told me. I needed you to intervene. They would not reply. They considered the matter closed. We spoke to the dealer. We spoke to the technician. It was either a rock or rodents chewing the wires. Not covered under warranty. So that's how that ended. I was furious. And when I told them I'm not going to buy another Honda after this one, if this is the way you're going to treat people, I probably 50% meant that. Because the thing about it is, other brands, other makes have pretty good warranties. Some of them, I'd rather not own a Hyundai, but they have a great warranty. In fact, a very good friend of mine just got a whole engine replaced because of a sound it was making. Covered. Not a penny out of his pocket. He has Hyundai. Nice one, but, still. So, other companies can take care of their customers. Honda doesn't give a shit. They make enough money. They don't have to give a shit. They charge enough for their vehicles. And, of course, mine's a touring model, the most expensive CRV you can buy. It's 3 years old now. Oh, and by the way, a little bit of flavor for the story. My 2020 Honda CRV Touring in metallic blue, which some people say is garish, but I think it's beautiful, remained pristine. There hasn't been a thumbprint on that car in the years that I've owned it. Not a mark. I panicked when I saw the outline of a spider web on the windshield, thinking it was a crack. Nope, wiped right off. Little things here and there on the paint from grocery store parking lots, could thumb them right out. The car was mint. So I was working. Today is Sunday. The day before yesterday, Friday morning, I was working. I work in the back office of my home, and I'm part of a help desk for medical imaging devices. So I'm on a help desk. I have a lot of incoming calls, and I'm helping customers over the internet and over the phone. So I'm very immersed, and I had an emergency call going on. Somebody's system was down. They had patients waiting to be imaged. And I was halfway through getting them back online when there was a big loud pounding on my kitchen door, the entrance door. Boom, boom. And I'm like, who the hell could that be? So I had to yell over there. I had to mute my telephone because I'm talking to a customer and yell, I'm working. Whoever it is, you'll have to wait. So it took me a good 10 minutes to resolve this problem for the customer. We finally figured out what it was. We got it resolved, at least temporarily. I had to send a field engineer to make sure that the permanent fix was applied later, but at least we got it back working again for the day. Long story short, I don't know why I included that, but... And I said, oh my God, I left somebody standing at my front door. I wonder if they're still there. Jumped up, ran out there. Yep, they were still there. 2 of the maintenance crew of the apartment complex that I live in, one that I knew and one I'd not met before, were out there. And the one that I knew said to me, hey Larry, that's your blue CRV out there, right? I'm like, yeah. Why, do I need to move it? They're like, no. Somebody just hit it. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Somebody hit my car? Now, it's right outside my window, which was open, and I didn't hear anything. Like, well, he backed into it. I'm like, was it one of you? They're like, no, but we know who did it. So the other guy, who I didn't know, introduced himself and said, well, here, I wrote down this license plate number, and this is the vehicle description. He drove off. He hit it, said, oh shit, hit the gas, and took off. But we were working outside, and we saw this. I got his plate. I'm like, oh, well, all right. So I told my boss I was going to go offline for a while, and I called the cop. He came by. Nice dude. Young cop, never seen him before. Real clean looking, tough looking, kind of cop you wouldn't want to mess with. It's one thing to see a grizzled old cop. It's another thing to see a young Nazi type cop, because there's a lot of those around. This guy, no, he was just cool. Had a cool personality, very together, kept me cool. He's like, sir, I just want to, just tell me in your own words what happened. And I told him. And I said, in fact, those 2 guys working over there are the 2 that came and got me to tell me that this had happened. And he's like, do you think they'd give me a statement? I said, I can only ask. Well, the guy who had given me the license plate number heard the cop ask me that and came walking over. Of course, I'll give you a statement. He's very helpful. Nice dude. And so he wrote everything. The cop gave him a notebook. He wrote everything into it that he knew and what happened. And the cop let him go and said, you want to wait while I run that plate? I said, do I get to know who it is? He's like, I'm running the plate either way. As if, you know. I said, okay. So the cop calls in the plate number. They're very quick about it now. There's no hesitancy. Like, this is the plate, blah, 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 registered Massachusetts. And he gave the vehicle description. Within 30 seconds, somebody came back, yeah, the plate's canceled. Comes back to that same vehicle that you're describing, but it's canceled. Guy's driving illegally. I'm like, oh, goody. And then the cop looks at me and said, that probably means he doesn't have insurance. I said, great. Well, the damage was my rear bumper on the rear passenger corner got pushed in probably about 2 inches. They didn't crumple any metal. I don't think they shifted the frame or anything like that. The back lid still opens, no problem, you know. Everything works. They didn't even break a light, but they did manage to push that bumper in a little bit. And they gouged up the fiberglass, or the plastic, whatever it is, that the bumper is made of or coated with. They gouged it up, and it looks like shit. So, of course, the cop's telling me, well, you know, it was a hit and run, so, you know, if you have collision insurance, you know, talk to your insurance agent about it. So the cop told me I could ask for a police report in a few days when they've had a chance to, you know, handle this. Because obviously a crime was committed, there were witnesses. So he left me with the words that, well, it's a police matter. But, you know, anything that happened in public like that is a matter of public record. You can request a police report in a few days. Give us a few days to put one together. He says it'll probably help you with your insurance, too. I said, well, you know, but he kind of left me with a warning. He's like, knowing who the guy is and where he parks his vehicle, it does not come into this. You understand? I'm like, yeah, I know what you're saying. Don't worry, I'm not that kind of person. He's like, okay, that's, you know, that's fine. He goes, just remember, you know, any information that you get, use it for your insurance only. Just make your vehicle whole again, whatever way you have to. I'm like, yeah, I get it. No vendetta, you know. I mean, he didn't really say that. He just like, use the information for the purpose that we intend you to use it. Okay? I said, yes, of course. So anyway, so that closes up that story. The dealership screwed me over. They wouldn't refund me anything. Corporate, all they did was call the dealership to ask them what happened. And the dealership lied to them just like they lied to me. They bought it hook, line, and sinker, came back to me and said, that's what our dealer said. We trust our dealers. Bye. This matter is now closed. So if I wanted to get that money back, I'd have to like take them in a small claims court. You know, big corporate word against mine probably. You know, I would have had to pay the court fees and everything if I lost. You know, so I'm like, screw it. I'll just eat the $400 or whatever it was that the repair came to. But this accident that just happened, this hit and run, I do happen to have collision. And in Massachusetts, the law states that a hit and run, all right, like in other words, I'm zero at fault. I wasn't in the car and it was parked legally. It was perfectly centered in a parking spot in my own parking lot where I live in my home. Perfectly parked legally, and the cop will attest to that. If your car's parked legally and there's a hit and run, if they cannot find the person who did it, then your insurance for collision is on the hook, but you have to pay your deductible, of course. So this dude just left me a $500, a negative $500 gift, and took off. So anyway, I hope that closes the story of deception at the dealership. I got nothing out of it. It just goes to prove you'll get nothing. Don't argue with car dealers. You're very lucky if you win an argument with a car dealership, and especially with corporate. So that was the part 2 of that story. Another part 2 is a sort of an unrequested part 2. In my video about the atheism issue, the question of atheism, in the beginning of it, I showed you an instrument that I was working on at the time, and I realized, I'd done stuff to that. I'd made a real instrument out of that, and didn't make any video about it. So that's going to be the second half of today's video. I just want to show it to you, just because it's cool. This right here, the instrument I'm talking about. This, although it looks like a Stratocaster, well, look at the knobs. There are only 2. Look at the output jack. This is actually the body of a Squire Bullet. A Squire Bullet. It's a 1988, I believe, is the year of this. And I could not rescue it in its original condition. The reason being, this was its original neck. Okay, this Squire Bullet right here. Some music store in Massachusetts. And of course the little numbers down there. This is the original neck. I have since rebuilt it, but decided not to use it. It had too much front bow. In fact, well, you can't really see it now because there's no tension from the strings. Plus, I did kind of repair it a little, but this the truss rod had been tightened as far as it could go, and this still had too much relief in it. It was still leaning too far forward towards the strings. I could not get the action down. I just couldn't. It was kind of awful. And to get a happy medium with that much bow in it, with that much cradling in the neck, to get the action down as low as possible, what you end up having is these frets down here didn't buzz at all, and the ones in the middle didn't buzz at all, but the ones at the top, they started buzzing like crazy. I even took down the top frets, to try and mitigate that. But the strings would just buzz. You'd have high action all up in here, and buzz out up there. It was just fretting out, and I couldn't resolve it. What I did was I ended up sending away for truss rod spacers that go up here, and I steamed this neck off. I heated this neck up under steam, and I pried it loose. I took it off, which I had never done before, and I took my heart in my hands. This is an original, a Squire Bullet may not be worth much, but any guitar that old, an 88 that was still fairly playable and good looking, is worth saving, And it's, it's pretty nice. They put pretty good workmanship into it with the skunk stripe and all that. And the shame was how resonant the wood was. Nice resonant wood, and I hated to waste it. But this neck that's on the guitar, this actually was never intended for this guitar. This is a 2004 Mexican-made Stratocaster neck. This came off my original 2004 Strat, the sage green one that you see, which has a replacement neck on it. Well, when I took this neck off that other Strat, I was able to recondition it. I was really in the process of learning guitar tech work in those days, and didn't feel real proficient at it just yet. So I was afraid to do a lot of repairs on my own. But I kind of experimented with this neck that I took off that other guitar, and I got it pretty good. I got it to the point where the frets were perfect. They were all nice and leveled out, and I had them, leveled out, recrowned, polished. The truss rod was great. So I had this neck in storage. But one thing that's different about a Strat neck and a Squire Bullet neck, see, the specs are the same. But see the bottom? This is the original Bullet neck. That is a flat bottom. A Fender has a bit of, a curvature sticking out at the bottom. And that curvature prevented me from putting this neck on this body just yet. This neck didn't fit on the body as it was. The bolt holes lined up and everything, but you see that pick guard and the wood under it did not allow for that curvature at the bottom of it. So I just flattened it out. I hated to take any wood off a Fender neck, but I thought, well, if I can get it to sit on this guitar, and if I get a good guitar out of it, it's worth it, rather than hanging the thing on the wall for decoration, which is, by the way, what this original Squire Bullet neck does. It hangs on my wall as a decoration. I've got a lot of spare parts up on the wall. Any guitar player that has a lot of wall decorations or spare parts means that he fucked up a lot of guitars. In my case, not that many, but I've got 2 necks on the wall, actually. One of them was from a Stratocaster that I sold and had replaced the neck on because I wanted bigger frets. That's hanging up in the office. This one here is hanging up out here in the living room. But anyway, so this is the guitar I ended up with. A Squire Bullet body is smaller. It's smaller than a Fender Strat body. The dimensions are smaller. I think it was intended to be for a kid or a beginner when it came out, but they just happened to put spectacular sounding single coil pickups in these guitars. They just did, and the body is well constructed. I like the paint job. That's sort of I forget what version of red that is, but I liked it. And a nice white pickguard. I mean, everything's original except for the neck. The parts were even pretty good. So this is the guitar that I got out of it, and it has become one of my favorite Strats. It's one of my most playable and best sounding Strats. And the fact that it has a smaller size body means it's lighter. And it's easier on my back and on my legs and whatever else that I do. And it just makes it easy to play. Very few people have ever spotted that this isn't an actual Strat. Very few people. I play in clubs. There's a lot of musicians that go in there. And one of them came up to me and said, "Oh, I see you hybridized a Bullet." I said, "Yes." And I thought it was kind of funny that he noticed that. But it plays great. This neck was almost meant for this guitar. I got everything back tonally that I had lost initially when I took that neck off. And this is it. I like it. This is the bridge pickup. Whoops. This is the number 2 out of phase position. This is the middle pickup. This middle pickup is the one with the least amount of output for some reason. Maybe I just need to raise it a little bit. It is kind of low now that I'm looking at it. So it will be louder when I raise it. And this is the number 4 position, the out of phase between the middle and the neck. Oh, I got my cats are rocketing out, going up the tree. And of course the neck position pickup. Well, anyway, that's my Bullocaster, my Strato bullet. I don't know, but I love this thing. I think it sounds great. I've used it for a number of gigs, and yeah, it's got a nice groove in it. It's got a really nice, cool tone, and all your classic blues and a lot of the oldies that I play sound fantastic on it. The cheese. You know what I'm trying to play? Doesn't work on a Strat with my little Chinese amp back there. My Chiricahua 1215, formerly known as a Stage Right 15 watt tube amp. Anyway, that's enough of that. I just wanted to share with you, close up a couple of gaps. The car warranty nightmare story that didn't ever get resolved. Of course, I threw in the story about the accident that somebody just blessed me with. But as my sister put it to me after I complained, I have definite anger issues, no doubt about it. And my first reaction to the news when the guy told me, yeah, somebody just backed into it. I mean, this fist almost went through a wall. And they're like, hey, whoa, I'm just telling you. I'm like, yeah, I get it. You're just telling me. That's cool. Don't worry about it. I'm cool. And the cop watched me fuming, and he, you know how they had that look out the side of their eye at you, like, I'm leaving now. You're good, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. So my sister said to me, Larry, look, She says, you had somebody hit the car and nobody got hurt. And the car won't drive any differently. And at a glance, you can't even see what happened. She goes, did it really affect the quality of your life that much? And I said, well, no, I suppose not. She's like, if all it is a matter of money, does it really affect the quality of your life that much? If it has to be perfect, it's just going to cost you $500. They can't give you an insurance surcharge next year because you weren't at fault. Surcharges are for people who are at fault. You were zero fault. And the cop report will show that, and that'll go a long way towards proving that. So chances are you'll only have to pay the deductible and you can get a new bumper on the car and then it'll be like nothing ever happened. I'm like, yeah, I suppose you're right. She goes, or you could just, or I said to her, or I could just save the money, not spend $500 and just drive it like it is, because who the fuck's going to know, right? But I know. So, been a strange time. Further update in my life. About maybe two and a half months ago. I've got a lot of diabetes damage to my body. And that's all my fault. I've eaten like crap for years, and But when my muscle problem hit and I couldn't really walk around much anymore, I put on a lot of weight. And of course, being sedentary and sitting down, you acquire the worst possible habits. Luckily, I don't drink or do dope or anything like that. But of course, this isn't helping my heart. My heart that sits around all day doing nothing, except losing temper once in a while. But I have begun to. Once enough doctors tell you this is killing you, Larry, you're going to start thinking, Jesus, they're like, every day you wake up, you're the oldest you've ever been. You're not going to get any younger. This isn't going to heal. All you can do is slow it down as much as possible. So what I did about a couple months ago, I started the keto diet, more or less. I'm not following anybody's strict rules. I'm just using common sense. I've been eating. I'm very much a carnivore, so I eat a little steak, pork chop, chicken, fish, and I don't put anything on it. No glazes, no sauces, nothing like that. I do use a little salt seasoning. I gotta have steak at least twice a week. I just have to, but I keep the portions fairly, not huge. And I eat a lot of green vegetables, a lot of salad, spinach, and for snacks I keep celery. I'll eat a cucumber like an apple, more or less, and that's more or less a free food. And if you're somebody who loves just meat and veggies, you can do quite well on this keto program that I'm unofficially calling it. And I've actually dropped some weight. I feel a little different. My energy levels are different. And so that's the update on my end of things. Hopefully be a little bit thinner by like Christmas time. The key to sticking to a diet for me is the planned cheat. The planned cheat. You have to realize that you've eaten comfort foods for a long time to make you feel comfortable. And if you switch your diet up all at once and strictly stick to it always, you're going to be in an uncomfort zone for a long time. And if that happens, there's no release at all. You've got nothing to look forward to. Yeah, the incentive of being thinner or being healthier, sure, but you don't get to see that right away. Well, the way I do it is about once a week I let myself have something I'm not supposed to have. For instance, I might have a plate of pasta. I might have a roll, That just doesn't mean I spend a day eating candy and ice cream, no. But I'll let myself have a little something I shouldn't probably be having. A portion of mashed potatoes. If I go out to dinner with somebody one night a week or something, I might, along with my piece of steak, I might eat the mash, or the rolls, whatever they serve me that night. I'm just not going to think about this one meal. And it might set you back a couple of days, as far as being in ketosis goes. But if you get right back on the wagon the next day, keep the water going in, exercise as much as you can, which in my case isn't that much, but something. Try to move around a little bit. You can recover quickly. And I think I'm slowly getting there. And, you know, what they tell you is if the weight went on slowly, then really the only way to take it off is slowly. If you do it too fast, you'll gain it back. You will rebound. So I'm hoping not to rebound. But that's it. That's what's going on with me. I hope everything's cool with you guys. October the 8th, 2023, here in central Massachusetts. Today was a beautiful sunny day. A little bit cooler. The leaves are changing. Most of the trees around here have gone from green to yellow and gold. Not seeing any red ones just yet, but that will come shortly. It's a very good time of the year to drive north to New Hampshire and go look at the foliage up in the mountains, because right now it's probably on fire. So I'm enjoying the fall. I hated the heat in the summertime. And I like not having to have the air conditioner on all day long, because that noise really gets to you after a while. So anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying your fall as well. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed my little chat today. I know it's kind of stupid, and I always talk about personal things, but this is real life. And I figure that you guys can probably relate to some of it, if not all of it. A lot of people who are subscribed to the channel are, you know, followers of guitar and tobacco, and you know, and I'm sure everybody's had a problem with a car repair at one point or another. So I figured you wouldn't mind me sharing. So that's it for today. You guys take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you soon.